Yeah, man. JJ. I go on JJ. Tough. Alright, so we have one last paper. And then tomorrow you'll be live or not. Ready for the exam. Like you man them don't know time. I give them 2 more minutes. Yeah man. Textbook is it. Anyways, me see man them talk foolishness in the group. So I'm ready. So let's move now to guess if foolishness interest on you know. So we now wait. Alright, so question one. Let me question one speaks about testing, food test. Alright. So question one speaks to food test. Let me just open this document. Alright, so question one speaks to wrong paper me do. Oh, me no want to do that paper here. Wrong paper I'm doing, guys. Wrong paper. Should be this paper I'm doing. So let me find the right paper. Alright, so right paper now. Alright, so this question states the human body is composed of 70% water. All of our body reaction takes place in a fluid medium. Say two function of water other than reaction. So two function of water other than reaction. Two function of water other than reaction. Alright, so coolant for the body, yes? That's one. What's another one? The body. The body, not cooking. You're gonna cooking. Your body cooks, sir. Gringo. Gringo, everybody cook? Man say cooking. The human body, is composed of water. What's the function of water in the human body? Yes, it helps in digestion. Yes. Hydrated. Yes. What else? Yes, these are minerals. All right. So apart from water, the human body needs a balanced diet, right? Apart from water, the human body needs a balanced diet in order to for it to perform at its best. What does balanced diet mean? What's a balanced diet mean? Let's go, guys. Let's move faster, man. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I want to make my comeback, you know. I come back when I move slow. Come on, let's go. Balanced diet consists of a right quantity of food from different food group, right? Intake of food. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Name any two nutrients, right, which must be present in a balanced diet to provide energy for a person's activity. So energy. Let's go. Nutrients. 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 Carbohydrates, protein. Right. 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 So it would be protein and carbohydrates. Is sugar a nutrients, by the way? Is it a nutrient? I'm just asking. Is glucose a nutrient? Is it a type of nutrient? It wouldn't be a nutrient because it would be the simple form of carbohydrates. Remember, carbohydrates break down to give amylase breaks down carbohydrates to glucose. Right? So remember carbohydrates, right? Breaks it down to glucose. So what's the next question now? Next question states Amari visits the National Science Center and sees the following experiment being conducted. A sample of a substance is divided into two parts. One part is placed in test tube 1, and another part in test tube 2. Basic solution is added to both test tubes, and the test tubes are shaken. Test tube 1 is then heated. The color change from blue to orange red in test tube 1. Name the nutrients that is likely present in the sample. What will be the benefit? Glucose or reducing sugar. So it's reducing sugar glucose. So for the question at the top, I would just prefer carbohydrates and fat, but if you say glucose, they won't penalize you. All right. Would there be a color change in test tube 2? And give a reason why. Would there be a color change in test tube 2? What's your reason for that? Why you said no? So Speed says because it needs to be warm. Yes, because heat is needed for the precipitate to form. Heat is needed for the precipitate to form. All right. Next. It says that a survey is conducted, so another survey is conducted, and 4 groups of secondary students on the number of servings of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins that they eat during a 1-week period. Table 1 shows these results. Study information in table 1 and answer the questions that follows. So these are the information, guys. Which group of students had the most balanced diet? Give a reason for your answer. Which group of students had the most balanced diet? I get D, C, C, it can't be D. It has to be B. I was marking that paper Speed, you wouldn't get that. Why? Because a balanced diet is the correct proportion of nutrients. It can't be D because D has 140 proteins. That's not balanced. There's way more protein than the rest of food groups. So that can't be balanced. There's no way D can be balanced. You have 140 serving of protein, then 50 of fat, and 60 of carbohydrates. Can't be. It has to be B. It can't be C either because C is 60, big drop off going to 30, and 7 is fat. B is most balanced out of all of them because the difference between the number of servings are less. So you have 100 carbohydrates, 80 fat, 81. So that is most balanced. That is way more balanced across the board. If we look on A, the 60, the difference between 60 and 115 is too much. That's a big difference. So the 7 in C makes it a big drop off. It can't be C if it's 7. Look at the difference between 7 to 60. That's way too much. It's way too much. The difference between 140 and 60 is way too much. So the answer has to be B because there's not much difference. The biggest difference is 20. That's the only difference between 100% of carbohydrates, 80 and 81. So B has to be way more balanced than D and C. There's no way you can get C. It says a balanced diet. And to me, that's just throwing away marks. That's throwing away marks, guys. Because it says a balanced diet. And you guys said to me that a balanced diet is the correct proportions. So how you can eat 140 protein, 60 carbohydrates, and 50, you call that balance? That's not balance. B is not totally balanced, but B is the most balanced out of all of them. You can't eat 60 carbohydrates, 7 fat, 30 protein, and call that balance. So I think you just throw away some marks there. That's 2 unnecessary marks out the gutter. So the answer should be B, because the servings of all three are almost, that J, a balanced diet is the correct proportional of servings. The correct proportional of servings, that J. It means that if you eat 100 fruits, you must eat 100 carbohydrates. You must eat 100 chicken, which is protein. So 100, 100, 100 across the board. A meal cannot be balanced if you have 140, you eat 140 protein, and then you eat 60 carbohydrates and 50 fat. How can that be balanced? There's no balance between D. And the person who said right D and get him answer right, that's just the teacher saying that, hey, I'm sorry for you, bro. But on CXC, there's no way you could have get that right. That cannot be right. Can't be right. Can't be right. So, cannot be right. So there's no way you can have a big indifference like that. Right? I must a person, I feel live or am I alive? That OVX person, I feel live or am I alive? Are you alive or am I alive? No, I never feel live or am I alive? I must feel live. But me have to explain that Tajay can understand. Right? Because I don't want nobody going to exam and don't see why. You have to get the reasoning, guys. You don't want that shredder points like that. That's too easy. Alright. So next one. Which group of students would be most prone to becoming obese? So which group of students would be prone to becoming obese? I see A. Alright, so more prone to becoming obese. You should take pictures of the table, guys. Take picture of the table. So don't have to be moving back up. Which group will be more obese? So A, let's see A, why A though? Why would A be obese? What's the answer? What's the reason for A being obese? Why you think that? Lots of fat. Okay. And lots of carbohydrates. So fat and carbohydrates combined. Yeah. Moving on, guys. Let's press. Other than diet and exercise, suggest one factor that could contribute to obesity. So apart from diet, right, and exercise, suggest one factor that contributes to obesity. Yes, K, that's right. Genes. Okay, yes, genes is right. Man's the laziness. Oh boy. Too much blood? Not really. You want to say health problems, genetics, slow metabolism. That's a better answer, Jada. Slow metabolism, health factor, genetics, or physiological disease, right? Those will be more suited. Next, the function of the bone. Label A and B. So label A and B and state one benefit. Well, all right, let's label A and B first. What's A and what's B? So Nikki says A is compact. Chrissy, nothing about the bone. Refer to your textbook. So B is spongy bone and A is compact bone. All right, so B, spongy. All right, and A is compact bone. Next, state one benefit of bones being hollow rather than solid. Why would it be different? Why would there be a benefit of having hollow bone? Permeable? Not really. Yeah, makes you move freely. So if the bone lighter, you move faster. So if it's lighter bones, you'll move faster. Right? Prevent crack from spreading. What kind of crack? Speedy. Speed. It is easy, Yeah, they are lighter, making movement more efficient. Right? Moving on. State 2, raw materials required for the process of photosynthesis and one product of photosynthesis. Raw materials. Sunlight is not a raw material. Alright, fine. But let me not like sunlight was a raw material. You want to give the raw materials water and carbon dioxide. You want to work with the formula. Remember, raw materials would be carbon dioxide and water, and then the products would be oxygen and glucose. Remember, raw material is anything that makes or react together to get a byproduct. The product would be oxygen and glucose. So the raw material would be carbon dioxide and water, and the product would be oxygen and glucose. The product is what is the end of the formula. The product is what is at the end of the formula. And sunlight and chlorophyll is the condition that is in. So yeah. Next, we have Sydney D starches, right? A vegetative leaf, and then expose it to light for several hours. She then tests the leaf for starch using iodine. What is the expected result of her experiment? Explain your answer. What are the expected results? If starch is present, it will turn blue-black. Yeah. So de-starch should de-starch it. Yeah, but you have to explain more on that, guys. At 4 marks. So if starch is present, it gives you a blue-black color. That's 2 marks. What's the other 2 marks? Blue-black color will be present as she re-enter it in the back to the presence of sunlight. It never said that. Well on. Yeah, it said that. Yeah, it said that for true. It said that for true. Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Yes, you're correct. So the parts where the starch is or where chlorophyll is it will turn blue-black. And the parts where doesn't have any chlorophyll, it will not change color. So that will give you your 4 marks. The part where chlorophyll is present, right, it will become blue-black. That's the part where chlorophyll is. And the part where no chlorophyll is present, it will not change color. Right? No, you wouldn't talk about wilt. You're talking about this context. This context will be about testing. Food testing. It's talking about food testing. So you have to answer based on the context of the question. All right. Next, we have a food web. So you can take pictures of that food web. Well, you can look on the food web and answer my question. To identify the group of organisms that possesses the greatest amount of biomass. So, which organism has the greatest amount of biomass? And suggest the role they play in the food web. So let me just get that up some more. This is a Python at the top. Where it's a coconut actually. The biomass. So all you're missing, guys, is a coconut. That's just a coconut there. So it's a coconut there. So which would have the greatest amount of biomass? That's simple, guys. Biomass is energy. Really? Biomass? Seriously? Come on, guys. Come on. No? The diagram that's blocking is coconut. That's a coconut. The coconut is the only thing being blocked. So we should have a biomass. So biomass means weight. Basically weight and energy, basically. Well, it's more about weight and energy. Well, it could be, yes, yeah. The biomass store energy. That's so which part of the food chain would have the most energy? The producers. Has to be the producers. So what are the two producers? So the coconut has the most biomass, and what else? This, the banana. This is a banana plant. So those two would have the most biomass. The biomass that, remember, energy is greatest at the producer, because the producer make the food. The producers are autotrophs. The producers are autotrophs. They make their own food. The banana plant is here. It's not drawn, it's just in a diagram, but because this paper was scanned poorly, it don't really show clearly. So you know that coconut and banana plant is at the there. Just like how you have python at the top here. It's not really shown clearly. So biomass is where has the most energy. What's the role of those organisms, the coconut and the banana plant? What's the role of them? I said it already. Role will be to provide energy to the food chain. Remember, guys, that when you eat the banana, or when the goat eat the banana, you eat the goat. The goat, the energy is being transferred from the grass or the banana to the goat. And then as it moves up the ladder, it's reducing energy. Energy is being reduced as it goes up. Because respiration, it will be losing by respiration and by when animal excrete. So when they excrete, they are losing energy, right? When they are excrete, they are losing energy. So you have the grass, and the grass have the most energy. Then the cow eat the grass, and then the humans eat the goat. As it goes up, and then the python eat the human. So the python will get the least amount of energy. So the role of any producer in a food chain is to provide the food chain with energy. That's it. To provide the food chain with energy. That's the role of the producer. Is that clear? Is that clear? Not only 10%, but it depends. Sometimes it's more than 10%, because if you're excreting and you're respirating, it can be more than 10%. Because remember, when you respire and when you excrete, so when you defecate or you urinate, you're also losing energy. It don't have a set number, guys. It doesn't have a set number. It depends. Next question. Explain why each subsequent trophic level possess less energy than the previous level. So suggest one, suggest why the subsequent trophic level possesses less energy than the previous level. Because energy is being transferred. Not only that. Not only that. And if you combine the answers properly together, so you need to say At each trophic level, energy is used for respiration and growth. You need to answer the question then properly. At each energy level, energy is used for respiration and growth / daily activities. The remaining energy is passed on to the next level. So each energy level, energy is used for respiration and growth and daily activities. And the remaining energy is passed on to the next level. All right, so just one consequence of the parrots being removed from the food web shown. So if you remove the parrots, what will happen? The parrot's in the middle here. So if you remove the parrot, what will happen in the trophic level? So if you remove the parrot, what happens? If you remove the parrot, what happens? There will be an increase in other part. You have to be specific. The trophic level above it would have less organism to eat. That's good. And the trophic level below it will multiply. Very good answer, Chrissy. That's an excellent answer. That's beautiful. I'm giving you something for that. That's an excellent answer. Beautiful answer. Excellent answer. Because if you remove the parrot, right, then the jaguar will have one less to eat. And then if you remove the parrot, it means that there's no population control, right, at the levels below it. So there will be an overpopulation of the coconut, of the banana, right, and of the insects. All right? That is how I want you to formulate your answer. Formulate your answer like your answer tomorrow. And stop give me the piece of something because I don't know where you're at for tomorrow. All right? Moving on. Which one next? Okay, this is next. Identify the largest source of air pollutant in the world today. So what's the largest source of air pollutant? And what the industries use? They're asking about the pollutant, not the factory. What does the factories use? Can't be factory though. Fossil fuel. Has to be fossil fuel. There's more cars than any factory. There's more cars than any factory in the world. So it has to be fossil fuel. Fossil fuel has to be. And fossil fuel also used in factories. So fossil fuel is the largest air pollutant in the world today. All right. Name 2 gases that contribute to global warming, and those were given in the other paper as answers. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, to methane. Yes, CH4, methane. Yes, all good answers. What's the function of breathing in humans? What's the function of breathing in humans? What is the function of breathing in humans? Why you breathe? What's the purpose of you breathing? You have to be more specific than that. Inhale oxygen, exhale O2. That's very simple. Yes. So that oxygen is diffused in the bloodstream and carbon that, yes, XOXO. That's an excellent answer. Function of breathing in human is to take in oxygen, which the body needs for energy, and to expel. Yes. OVX, however you pronounce that, that's an excellent answer. That is a complete answer. Very complete. You want tug? Are you a male or a female? Because I can't tell from that. OVX, are you a male or a female? All right, so we're not saying no art, we're saying some 100. You see? Pick up yourself. All right. So, moving on now. So, Frederick is in training for a track and field event at school. His coach tell him he needs to increase his vital capacity. State what is meant by the term vital capacity. So the maximum amount of air that the lungs can take in, yes, we'll take that answer. All right, that's 1 mark, and we'll take that. Nice. Moving on. To increase his vital capacity, the coach recommends that Frederick increases his exercise regime and avoid smoking. Explain the effects of exercise and capacity. So to increase his vital capacity, the coach recommends that Frederick increases his exercise regime and avoid smoking. Explain the effects of exercise and smoking on his vital capacity. So increases surface area, volumetric for exercise, okay. Increases what surface area? The lungs? Which surface area? Not sure which surface area you're talking. So say it XO, and if you say it in your thing, so you don't have to question it, right? So it will make your lungs muscle stronger in order to function efficiently. Additionally, vital capacity would increase after exercise because oxygen demands on the body are greater. Now, when you exercise, the oxygen demand will be greater. So more oxygen is needed to take in to produce energy. All right. Smoking. So let's see, an exercise Frederick could do is long distance running. This will greatly increase his health. No, man, you wouldn't need to say an exercise. They are telling you to explain the effects of exercise. So you wouldn't need to state the exercise specifically. You just need to state that, oh, exercise would increase and help his lungs. So one, it will make his muscles stronger, his lung muscles stronger, and it would increase because after exercise, because oxygen demands on the body are greater, so more oxygen is needed to take in to produce energy. Smoking, okay. What organ in the lungs is responsible for increasing the capacity, the surface area for lungs to diffuse? Which organ in the lungs is responsible for that? Which organ in the lungs? The alveoli. So smoking would destroy the alveoli. And when smoking destroys the alveoli, it makes it harder to move in air throughout your lungs. Makes air harder to diffuse. Right? Smoking can also cause your breathing tubes to swell up. Right? And when you smoke, right, it produces mucus. That's why people cough a lot and try to get rid of mucus. So it forms excess mucus in the lungs, right, which decreases the vital capacity of the lungs. Right? So that would be the answer for those. Next, Frederick teammates advise him to start training at higher altitudes in preparation for his next race. Would training at higher altitude improve his performance? Explain your answer. So Frederick teammate says, okay, he should go at higher altitude. Would that improve his performances? Yes or no? And explain why. Stamina, but you have to put it in the context of the question. The question is still relating. So that's another thing, guys. Remember, these are all related questions. And it's the first question normally gives it away. The first question is CI. I normally start it off, you know what line to follow. So CI says vital capacity. That's what we're doing. If we look on B, right, I look on AI, we know we're talking about pollutants. And then you see II talk about something relating to pollutants. So make sure say you know that the questions are relating. So CI speaks about vital capacity. So if we reach II or III, which is 4, it's still relating question. So it has to be something with the vital capacity. Then if you put there, that's a trick you need to learn. So you wouldn't be saying about stamina. You have to stick with what I want. It has to relate to I want. All right. So yes, higher altitude help him to build stamina. No, the stamina thing is not accepted. With higher altitude, oxygen reduced. Okay, I think it would, because it would put more strain on his lung because the air tends to be thinner at higher altitude. Yes. So the air is less. So there's less oxygen the higher you go. So that will improve its vital capacity over time. Yes. Higher altitude have less oxygen. Yes. Those are the answers we want. Because you saying stamina, that has nothing to do with the relating question, guys. They are all related questions. Please bear in mind that when you get a question and you get 3, and then you have I have I. Those are related questions. So you can't go talk about stamina when the first question talk about vital capacity. Don't stray. Analyze your questions properly, right? Once your follow-up question and the first question asks, what is that? Normally, that's what they're asking. That's what the same relating topics they're asking, right? So don't fall off track. Next, Frederick trains in the city that has polluted air. Will this adversely affect his performance? Give reason for your answer. So give reason for your answer, guys. Let's go. Let's go. So it says yes, it would, because polluted air can affect his lungs. How? How, guys? How? Because of the atmospheric change in the air, it would cause a strain on his lungs, preventing him from reaching his full. You still have to get the thing I showed you a while ago. Training at a place with heavy pollution will cause his performance decline, as his lungs is constantly being consumed with bad air, and his training. This will put a straight. Still when I get it. It is a related question. It relate. So use your common sense. Me just show you a vibe. It is a related question. Questions relate. It's a related question, guys. Remember, I told you that you have to smart. You can't go in an exam like that. You have to have critical thinking and reasoning. If you go in a paper, go in an exam, right? This is the first question. Is Frederick is training for a track team, right? His coach telling me you need to increase his vital capacity. What is meant by vital capacity? Every question here is talking about testing his vital capacity. How will you go and start to answer other things that is not related to his vital capacity? That's what you're doing. You are ignoring the question. Basically, I say we want vital capacity and you are doing something else. The answer we want is that polluted air leads to shortness of breath or breathlessness. And you can say that the presence of pollutants in the lungs leads to a decrease in its vital capacity. You are talking about strain and reaching full potential, but you omit what it is about. Chrissy, where did you say that? Because I am scrolling up and I don't see anything like that. You see, I'm scrolling. I'm not seeing that. I am scrolling. I don't see that. When I see that, none at all. So I don't see anybody saying about the vital capacity. Very important. It's a related question. Related question. I'm not seeing that though. That probably never come true or something. So please, guys, Akeelia, Jada, remember, Chev, remember, you have to have common sense, guys. You have to have logical reasoning. Yes, it's good to know your stuff, but you have to have logical reasoning. All right? Moving on. Complete following sentence by choosing the correct words from the list below. So we have blood pressure, systole, ventricles, atria, and diastole. So first question is, right? When the chamber of the heart contract, it is called what? When the chamber of the heart contract, it is called what? It's called systole. Please don't run with the question, just wait. Okay. Avkin, Avakin, right? Avakin. Because he's breathing in polluted air, it would one cause, right? It would cause breathlessness, and it would reduce its vital capacity, decrease its vital capacity. Okay? All right. So systole is right. So when they relax, it is called what? When they relax, it is called what? It's called diastole, yes. Yes. These alternating contractions and relaxations are necessary to force the blood through the blood vessel. Right. Plaque on the walls of the artery cause hardening of the plaque on the walls of artery cause the hardening of the arteries. Name the disease that describe the condition of hardening of the arteries and state one symptom of the disease. So which disease cause hardening of the artery? Oh boy. Yes. Arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis, yes. And please learn to spell in that exam. Okay? Very important that you can spell your words. What's the symptom? Yes, they mark for spelling, of course. Everybody. Everybody who can spell, you have to learn to spell your words. Well, one time back, they never really two mark for spelling, but not sure now. You want to be on the safe side, spell your words. Know how to spell your words. If you have a problem with your word, practice it. The symptoms. What's the symptom of arteriosclerosis? If your arteries harden, you know, must catch heart attack. That cause heart attack. That's what cause heart attack. Heart attack, Miss Lawrence. All attack. That's the biggest one. A stroke. What you want to say is stroke. That's all stroke. Numbness in the arm, difficulty in speaking, that's stroke. So it's heart attack or stroke. You're describing stroke. As a result, where's this toll come from? Graham? No, sir. So remember, guys, it's heart attack or stroke. Any one of them is fine. As a result of the disease named in BI, right, the internal diameter of the artery is reduced, and this could lead to a development of hypertension. Name two factors that contribute to hypertension. So two factors, that's again a repeat question. Hypertension. Heat. Heat make you have high blood pressure? That's a heat. You know what I mean smoking? I think you mean smoking a keep. So high, it is high. Anna, Anna, you're going to exam, you know. Yes, weight, age, yes, stress, obesity, weight. Anna, you said the I and spell the I. Anna, honor, honor, Anna, Anna, boy, Anna, come here. Come here, Anna, come to me. Anna, come to me. Anna, I beat me, I gonna beat you. Anna said the I in the song. Anna, come here, Anna. Anna, me gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you, Anna. I'm just kidding, Anna. Don't take it serious. It's all fun here. All right. So next. So we have too much salt, fat, smoking, stress, and the list goes on. All right, next. The arteries leading to Brian's brain are becoming clogged. Briefly describe the effects that these clogged arteries would have on Brian's brain and hence on Brian. Yes, plaque buildup. For which question, Chef? Yes, you can. Yes, you can say plaque buildup. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can. So the arteries leading to Brian's brain are becoming clogged. Describe the effects that these clogged arteries will have on Brian's brain. How would it lead to stroke? Explain how. It's 4 marks. So his brain can shut off, which can kill him. No, you need more explanation than that. You need at least 4 lines or 3 lines. Still waiting on the paragraph. Less oxygen to his brain will lead to stroke. Okay. We want is the amount of oxygen need. Yes, here's one. Causing some part of his body to lose function due to the restriction of blood from the heart to the brain. The brain will not be able to send the processing message to part of the body. But then what would the blood be carrying? The blood be carrying oxygen, right? So therefore it would be less. So it would be the amount of oxygenated blood flowing to the brain would be reduced, right? So the buildup would decrease the amount of blood that can go to the brain. This will result in a stroke taking place if it gets too severe. But again, you want to put oxygenated blood, right? So you're going to say the amount of oxygenated blood flowing to the brain would be reduced. So the amount of oxygenated blood flowing to the brain would be reduced. This would lead to death of brain cells, causing a stroke or possible death. The thing is, OVX and Chrissy, is that you are giving peace an answer. This is how you're answering. I'm going to show you how you answer. This is how you answer. I'm going to give you a perfect example. You say less oxygen to brain, and then you say he would die. I don't know, because that don't give me a good indication of you putting it together. Right? You've tried at least put it together, right? Put it together so that me not really miss it. Right? So piece of it is right, OVX. But I don't know if you're gonna put it together to get the entire 4 marks. Remember, we are trying to get the entire 4 marks. So you just saying stroke, that's probably 1 mark. So it's right, but it's not complete. I want you to try and give me at least complete answers so you can practice for tomorrow. So me can say, all right then, OVX, you miss out this. Next time you put that in, right? And Chrissy the same. So I kind of address the longer ones because they they give me an idea of where you are. All right. So, yeah. All right. The next one, we're going to touch now some graph. Right. And this is Golda and Alex and Axel. So this is Axel and this is Golda. All right. So this is hypertension is used to link to diabetes. Right. So figure 3 shows the relationship between blood glucose level and meals of 2 persons, Axel and Golda. All right. So that is the glucose level, Axel and Golda. So which person, Axel or Golda, is most likely suffering from diabetes based on that diagram? Based on that diagram, which one of them is suffering from diabetes? Golda. Why Golda? Why is it Golda? What's it Golda? Why Golda? Because she has uncontrolled sugar. Yes. Because it's climbing, right? So her blood sugar level was never lower during the course of the day, right? Glucose level should have been lowered as it would have been used during metabolic activities. So metabolic activities would have lowered the blood sugar level, right? So goal because your level of sugar is rising each time. So yes, respiration should have lowered it. Metabolism should have lowered it. Explain one way in which genetic engineering has assisted in the treatment of diabetes. So explain one way in which genetic engineering has assisted in the treatment of diabetes. Genetic engineering has assisted in the treatment of diabetes, guys. So issuing of insulin, explain. No, not necessarily, Chrissy. I don't like that one, Chrissy. Issuing of insulin is right, but explain more. Explain more. What did you say? It says, what did you say? XOXO. I didn't see anything you said after high rate of glucose. Yes, but you're saying insulin. But how? How genetic engineering help you get insulin? Not getting that part. By creating a way in which diabetes can be treated through insulin. Nope, not what I want. If insulin is clearly deficient, he can go to the hospital where they can carry on an insulin treatment where it can be put into the body. Yeah, but I need to know how. All right, guys. So what you need to understand, you can't just say them answer there. Too vague. It says explain one way with genetic engineers that assisted in the treatment of diabetes. So remember that insulin is produced naturally by the body, right? So you would want to say something like what Akila is trying to say now. You'd want to say that they insert the insulin gene into a bacterium. Because remember that bacteria does replicate through binary fission, something very similar to asexual reproduction, right? So they want to put they want to insert the gene for insulin into bacterium to produce artificial insulin, right? We want to clear that up. Remember, it's artificial insulin, right? So remember that insulin is produced by the body, right? So is it possible to specialize a cell to replace that? Yes. So what we would do is use unspecialized cell to make a specialized cell. So we use a specialized cell to replace an unspecialized cell. And for those who don't know what a specialized cell is, a specialized cell has a specific function, like your nerve cell, your sex cell. They all have a specific function. Yes, so you can specialize a cell. Artificial. So what you do, they are normally called E. coli bacteria. E. coli for short. E. coli bacteria. So what you do, you put the gene in a E. coli bacteria, right? And then that bacteria would replicate, right? And then form insulin, that is artificial insulin. And then that could be used in the body. So whenever, because remember, diabetes would be that the body can produce natural insulin, right? So therefore, the production of genetic engineering where you can take the gene of an insulin and put it into an E. coli bacterium, right? If I can remember E. coli, it just say bacteria or bacterium, and then that bacteria would replicate to produce insulin. Is that clear? Understand the concept? Chef, what you don't understand? Guys, this is simple biology. All right? Remember that all the artificial things, all the artificial medicine we take, right? They are done by genetic engineering. So you take, it's like you take the gene that makes up insulin and you put it in a bacteria, right? And the bacteria would be considered a unspecialized cell. It's not specialized. A specialized cell is a cell that is responsible for carrying out a specific function in the body. For example, your sex cell will not be a nerve cell. Your sex cell function is specific towards reproduction. You will not find your sex cell in anywhere else but doing that specific function. Your liver cell is for your liver, right? There's no difference. So the liver cells for your liver, they are specific functions. So the function of the cell that is used to create insulin, that would be depleted during diabetes, right? So therefore, if it's depleted during diabetes, you're gonna take, right, the gene of that, and you're gonna put it in an Ecology bacterium to produce artificial insulin, right? So if you want to put it like vaccine, yes, you have artificial antibodies and then you have real antibodies, natural antibodies. So it's the same as vaccine, the same concept, but not the same thing, but the same concept. So is that clear? All the people would never clear to before. Is it still not clear? So you get the gene of insulin into the bacterium called E. coli and then it replicates to make insulin. Yes, pretty much that. That's how all artificial drugs are made. Every artificial drug that's in your body that them replicate, that's how them replicate it. They replicate it through unspecialized cell or E. coli. That's how. If your liver cells are being depleted and then your liver is not making, your liver is not going through mitosis to replace those depleted cells, they would have to use an unspecialized cell, take the gene from your liver cell, put it in that unspecialized cell, and then replicate. Then when it produces the cell, they replicate, and then they use that to replace your damaged cell. Joshua, bye, bye was food. All right, boy. So I try and make human and social biology food to these guys. Big up yourself, Joshua. You see, Joshua's a part of the biology live and Joshua ace it. All right. So, next question. Name the process by which eggs and sperm are made and state the importance of this process to fertilization. That's 3 marks. Joshua, ready for paper one, you know? Active, you know? The Trinidadian them and the Guyanese them. So a score we are taking a paper one, you know? We are going through a whole heap of paper one, you know, paper one for days. Paper one for days. So name the process by which eggs and sperm are made and state the importance of these processes. Meiosis, yes. Importance is important as they should be. Half, yes. Yes. And what's the word for half again? What's the word for half? What's the word for half? The number of chromosomes. What's the word? What's the word? Haploid. Nice. Moving on. 2. 2. Name 2 processes by which genetic variation occurs in humans. 2 processes by which genetic variation occurs in humans, and state one advantage of genetic variation. Sorry, a variation, my bad. State 2 processes by which genetic variation occurs in humans, and state one advantage of genetic variation. Let's go, guys. This is repeat question without being in the same way, but we'll go through that already. Genetic variation. Process. No. I want to get back meiosis. I want to talk about meiosis. When I answer this already, guy, 2 process by which genetic variation occurs. And this is why enough is SWAT. I've answered this already in a different way. Let's go, guys. Sexual reproduction can be accepted. It can be accepted, yes. What's another way? Who say asexual? Who say asexual? Who say asexual? Chrissy, come here. Come here to me. You better retreat that. You better retract it. You better retract it. You shouldn't retract it. You should make it stay. No, you should make it stay. Make it stay. You should make it turn. I see I'm gonna reach. See I'm gonna reach with a big stone. Aye. But boy, is sexual. Don't beat you. Mutation. And that me I talk about mutation. The question come back already. It come back with the dog. A Dalmatian question is the same question. I'ma tell you. Stop. When you SWAT, this is the difference between swatting and understanding. And the same question come back. The Dalmatian question say, if the Dalmatian dog did white, what happened? And everybody jump up, albino, 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 mutation, mutation, mutation albino, mutation albino. And the same question come back in a different way, but because that's what you SWAT, you get chopped. Because of SWAT, you get chopped. Where JJ there? Where JJ there? Because of SWAT, what you do? You get chopped. Because of SWAT, you get chopped. The same question come back. That's what I'm saying, and I hope you're learning that you don't do past questions to SWAT. You do past questions to learn. Because you learn to the dog losing color, and that was genetic variation. And then the question asks about types of variation, and we say it's continuous, right? And discontinuous. And we talk about earlobe and growth and all of these things. Then now this question asks 2 processes by genetic engineering occur. Now, in the Dalmatian question, you say, oh, albino, mutation. Hear them now? You them know? Albino. A mutation. And then the same question come back. All the chapter they have to say is albino mutation. Man I talk about asexual and a very track. You see? Una chop on yourself. Stop chop on yourself. Learn meds. Not overthink what not needed. That's meds. Right? No, Chrissy, are you me attack? Me not have to show my word, bro. It's you I'm talking. Chrissy, you have to retract. So the answer we're looking for is DNA mutation. Sexual reproduction can be accepted. With some people, they put and then put asexual. And you can also say gene flow. Right? What is the advantage, of genetic variation? The advantage of genetic variation. So you put the advantages of genetic variation as variation. Oh, Jesus. I can't manage. Oh, boy. I can't, I'm weak. I can't move. Adaptation to the environment. That's the answer we're looking for. So wait, nobody know about Charles Darwin theory of natural selection? Nobody know about that? No? First know about Charles Darwin theory of natural selection? Oh, so that Charles Darwin theory of natural selection speaks to the survival of the fittest. Charles Darwin theory of natural selection speaks about the survival of the fittest. How does environment adapt to the how does animals are living organisms, I should say, adapt to the environment. So one of the advantage of genetic variation is that none of us are of the same genetic makeup. That's what meiosis is all about. None of us is the same genetic makeup, right? So meiosis ensures that unlike mitosis where it's replicated down to the T, right? It's replicated identically. Meiosis ensures that there's variation. So if there is some sort of disease that should affect us, for example, COVID, you'll see that some will die and some will survive. The ones that survive are considered to be of survival of the fittest. That means they survive. They have the characteristics and the gene type to survive. So that is what genetic variation is. Genetic variation speaks to the survival of the fittest, adapting to your environment. For example, the tree monkey adapt to his environment because the tree monkey never used to live in the tree all the time. He used to live on ground until python and them thing they start eating. And then decide say he will have to go in the tree to survive. And then going in the tree, over a number of years, he start to adapt to living in the trees and start grow things like longer tails and can wrap around the branches and swing across effectively. So That's how monkeys survive, right? Adaptation, variation, right? So the different variation allows for different organisms to survive. For example, food, right? If all of we eat fish, that means a fish would be depleted. If all of us eat chicken, it means the chicken would be depleted, and then we would have to fight for chicken, would have to fight for food. So one of the advantages of genetic variation is that there will not be competition for food. So some eat fish, some eat chicken, some eat beef, some not like pork, because there is variation among, so everybody can have food to eat. So those are the advantages of genetic variation. Enables organisms to survive better than others in the environment in which they live. Right? The lizard, right, when him the outside on the tree, him camouflage in green so that him preys, right, don't eat him. But if him na the house, him camouflage in a brown because him hide amongst the furniture, they might order for you find him. So that lizard is surviving. Is he must survive. Fittest are the fittest. So variation enable organisms to survive better than others. But in this case, we are talking about if there's a disease, right? Some will die, and then some will have natural immunity. So, like COVID, you have some people die and some people live. The ones that live, them get the virus, and then the white blood cell remember that this virus caused some problems the last time around. So therefore, they will produce antibodies now to recognize that virus. Because remember, that is how the red white blood cell work. The white blood cell work by remembering the virus that caused problem the last time. So if COVID come in and cause problem the last time, it's gonna now remember that this virus, right? This virus caused problem the last time. So therefore, the next time it comes, they'll be fighting it, right? That is how they work. That is how white blood cells work. Memory cell, beautiful. That is it, memory cell, right? So that is how genetic variation is important. The advantage of it is that it helps organisms to survive better in the environment in which they live in. So I hope that is pretty clear. Our genetic variation is different. So the process of genetic variation would be DNA mutation, gene flow, sexual reproduction, and the advantage would be enable organism or some organism to survive better than others in the environment. Yes, gene flow. It's exactly what it is. How gene flow from one end to another. So gene is flowing from your parents to you. Gene is flowing from your grandma to your mother to you. Your grandma have big head, your mother have big head, and now you have big head. That's gene flow. So we're good now. What is interbreeding? Interbreeding is when an organism interbreed. I'm just kidding. Interbreeding is when organisms of a similar species have sex and can produce fertile offspring. Interbreeding is when an organism of similar species can provide a fertile offspring. But that's a deep biology. I doubt you need to know that for this. But you know it anyways. Don't say me say don't know it. Okay, just might come. All right, next. So we have Jose and Maria. a young married couple, right? Jose is just starting a new job in which there are many opportunities for promotion, but for the time being, is not making very much money. Maria returning to school and studying nursing. Maria's parents advised the young couple to seek family planning counseling. They suggest three advantages to Jose and Maria for practicing family planning. So, me name understand that brother you talk about incest. Anyways, um, so just three advantages to Jose and Maria for practicing family planning. So saving money, yes, that's one. Better decision making. What you mean? That sound a little bit vague. Expound upon that. To avoid unwanted pregnancy, yes, they think before doing something rational. Still kind of vague. You want to be more precise than that. Like unwanted pregnancy, yes. You'd probably want to say that they wouldn't want to bring a child that they can't financially provide for. You want to say that they can't give the child emotional. So you want to give the child, you want to spend time with the child. Yes, you want to receive greater emotional and physical care. You want to give the child a better chance for education. Yes, those are the answers that's more pinpoint, more clear. Right? You could say it's less expensive to support a small family. So if then decides they want to have one child every 5 years, it's better to plan for that, right? And it also enables Maria to complete her education because it said that she is going to school. So obviously she not done her education yet, right? You want her to finish up her education and go to school, right? Yeah. So all of those are you want to be pinpoint on your reason. You don't want to be vague and assume that we know what you're talking about. Next, it says to discuss three ways in which family planning benefits the country at large and not just a nuclear family. So reduction in infant and mortality rate due to poverty. All right. Government spending will decrease. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Social studies question. Hope we get one tomorrow. Okay. Family planning helps to curtail the wants of unwanted pregnancy. Yes. How about preventing sexual diseases? How about that? Yes, overpopulation. How about sexual diseases? Yeah, prevent sexual transmitted diseases such as STD and HIV, better standard of living, less healthcare bill. Yes. Opportunity for educate. Yes. Yes, that's a good answer, R. Loving that answer. Loving that answer, R. Very, very good answer. All right. R, yeah, thugs are your female. As R is a letter, you know. We said upon R, XX or XY. For those who don't know, XX is female chromosome and XY is male chromosome. If you don't know that, watch the video them later. Because you're going to need to know those terms. Alright? So I assume say XY and I give a couple of hundred. Alright? Next, we have the housefly. Alright? We have the stage of the housefly. The stage of the housefly. So we're going to label A and B and identify the duration of I and II. Yeah. So A, what is A? And a self-explanatory still. A is egg. And how much day the egg take to turn into a pooper? Well, and a pooper is a maggot. Or whatever that is. No, not pooper, maggot. Or whatever that is. I totally forget what that is. I think that's a maggot. It's a maggot? Yeah. It's a maggot? A young maggot? I don't remember what that is. It is one day. Take one day. B is a pooper. I don't remember what is before pooper. My fly cycle. Somebody can remind me. So fly and mosquito cycle is pretty much the same. Make sure you have that. Yes, it's a maggot. I was right. The maggot or larva. Yeah. So larvae is also known as a maggot, alright? So it would be A egg, and then 1 would be 1 day. And I would be 1 day. So this would be egg, and this would be 1 day. And then how much days it take to turn from a larvae to a pooper? It takes 4 to 5 days actually. 4 to 5 days. So 4 to 5 days will be here. So 4 to 5 days will be here. And then B now would be pooper, as someone stated before. And then how much days it take from pooper to fly? Takes 3 to 6 days. So 3 to 6 days will be here. And then how many days it takes to fly to actually lay another egg, another set of egg? It would be 2 to 3 days again. So egg here No, 2 to 3 days. So let's go it over again. So A is egg, and it takes 1 day to turn into a larvae. Then it takes 4 to 5 days to turn into a pupa, and pupa will be B. Then it takes 3 to 6 days to turn into a fly, and then it takes the fly 2 to 3 days before he lays egg again. All right. So next question states that after Betty's, let's go. Says after Betty's Bob's graduation dinner, she becomes ill, and the doctor suggests that she is suffering from gastroenteritis. Suggests 3 signs and symptoms that Betty, Bob, may have, an advisor of the causative agent of gastroenteritis. So what caused gastroenteritis? What could cause that? So the signs and symptoms. So vomiting, that's good. Okay, yes, belly ache, stomach pain, yes, cramps, yes. What else? Oh, what diarrhea? Gone far and I said diarrhea. Diarrhea is obvious, guys. State the obvious first. You have low grade fever, vomiting. Yes, guys. Yes, yes, yes. What's the causative agent? You have to be specific. What type of bacteria? Chris is a guess. Oh, guess again, gastroenteritis. That was better. Causative agent mean that what cause it? But what cause it? What type of bacteria? It can either be a virus or it can either be a bacteria, but you need a type of bacteria specifically. If you had to guess one bacteria, what would that be? Ready for shame with one more time. E. coli. Yes, Chrissy, finally. Ah, Jesus Christ. Yo! Chrissy, we feel like me I done the live right here, so cause you actually said something right. I actually learned something and use it common sense. So Chrissy, I feel like we are done the live here, so I make you go and bask like glory, cause let's call it a Sunday, I call it a day. Call it a day, boy. Yes, E. coli would be one, and then you would have rotavirus. That's another one. Rotavirus, and also no name again. Norovirus. So you have two of them: norovirus or rotavirus, and you have bacteria E. coli. All right. Typhoid is a disease that can also cause gastroenteritis. Suggest one other disease that can cause gastroenteritis and explain 2 measures that could be used to prevent the occurrence of gastroenteritis. What disease can cause gastroenteritis? And we have what on leptospirosis? Bomba, what a word. Jaja. I can't have a dictionary, boy. I can't have a dictionary. Lepto. Jaja. Lepto. A leptospirosis, I try to say. Cyrus. As a new disease, that. Because me, I wonder what go. They wonder which biology that. I said, Jaja. Cyrus. Me, I said, Jado. Me, I said, Jado. Which part that got? Me, I said, Ja. That's so real. All right. So we said leptospirosis can cause gastroenteritis. Yeah, man. I'll take leptospirosis. So how you treat leptospirosis? Norovirus is not a disease. It's a causative agent. Viruses and bacteria cause disease. What you mean? What mean R? What you mean? What mean? Or listen. No, Ecology. Remember, guys, viruses and bacteria. Oh, leptospirosis, rat. Disease you catch from rat. When rat defecate and urinate and things and you eat it, they catch leptospirosis. Can cause vomiting, diarrhea. Cholera, that's a good one. Cholera is excellent. Good answer, Chef. So leptospirosis, cholera, and you can prevent both of them by hand washing with soap and good food hygiene. No, calico when you eat too much things. Calico when you eat too much, mix up and vomit. Remember, guys, a disease. Colic is not a disease. Leptospirosis is a disease. Cause and the causing agent, the vector would be rat. Rat gear that. So it will be leptospirosis or cholera. And you prevent both the same way. Hand washing and good hygiene. All right. I think that's the end of this. And that's the end of the paper. So, yes, think it's time now you guys go get ready. Do your final reading. And match up for the exam in morning. All who not sleep tonight, say I. All who not sleep, say I. All who are go sleep, say sleep. Let's burn the midnight oil, guys. All right. Yeah, man. No sleep, no sleep, no sleep. No sleep. What time exam, guys? Is it morning or afternoon? The afternoon exam? 1 o'clock? Ah, you don't have enough time, man. What heap of time? A whole heap of time, boy. Whole heap. Watch out. Now you're gone too far, boy, live all night. Very good, boy. What's a live all night? But anyways, so some people say 9 o'clock, some people say 1 o'clock. You sure, guys? You sure you're the fun time? You sure 1 o'clock? Are you sure it's one? Man, them say 1 o'clock, so we work with 1 o'clock. Man, them say 1 o'clock. No, me say one more paper. Hey. Morning. That's morning asleep, we asleep. Sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. Sleep. Mine a sleepy time. But we don't have time still to go through the book. So me not continue. Let's go through the book. Alright, you go through your book. Me can't go through your book because it are too much. You go through your book and I'll forward the rest of the paper them to the group. Alright. So you guys go through your book and thing. I'm gonna send all the information you need to go through. Go through your book. Make sure you have your book locked. And thing and thing and thing and thing and thing and thing and thing. So me I send the WhatsApp group one time to all the people who in the group. We have 56 members or so on in the group. Yeah, man, I do paper one, man. So prediction. Alright, so let me give you some prediction. I think that overall, you need to know your diseases. Right? Yeah, man, you can ask me question, Chrissy. You need to know your diseases and what affects. Alright? You definitely need to know. This question, this paper that I just did is a 2015 paper. So the structure is a little bit different. The structure will be more like the first two papers that we did. It will be more into the diseases and all those things. It'll be more around that area. So make sure that you guys lock up. Make sure to lock up all the possible diseases that could affect your organs. Right? Make sure you lock up, 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 lock up. Lock it up. I go through a paper, but I go through it like how I go through it before. I just go run through it. All right. So if you see here, this is the January 2023 paper. All right. January 2023 paper, and you can see its structure. So we can see that the first question is name one greenhouse gas, and that's big, right? List 3 human practices that could contribute to greenhouse gases. Again, we do that already, right? We do that already in a different way. So come back in a different way. All right? We can see it come back in a whole new different way, but at the same answer then. All right? We see the same thing. We can see, moving on, them give you another graph, right? For sure, climate disaster. So it's gonna be around this aspect. Graphs and reading graphs, right? Then suggest 2 ways in which flooding could impact food security. You know, you talk about you damage your crops, disruption of supply chain, right? That means the boy. What supply chain mean, by the way? Genetics shouldn't be a problem because it's a video, it's there live on the video. It's on my channel. What I mean by disruption of food chain. So we talk about distribution of goods and services, disruption of it. So it's removed. What do I mean by that? Yeah, food chain. Food chain and how it reach a customer, the stages how it reach a customer. So the flooding I go mash up the crops so that it disrupt the food chain, because if there's no products on the farm, then how it's gonna reach a consumer. So it's all there. So it's basic common sense, guys. It's most common sense you're going to have to use. We can look again to see where it says it has been predicted as a result of global warming, ocean level may rise. And again, you can see that within questions, they give answers. So for one paper, you have to give the ocean level rise. For the other paper, they give you the answer in a question. So again, you're learning by just even answering questions, right? So yeah, then now we'll go and we say, so just one social implication. So you know, guys, you have to know the social implication and your economic implication. You have to know your social implication, talk about your environment and your surroundings, while the economic, you can see them stress these things. So you have to expect similar question like this: social implication, economic implication, reduction of land space, right? That's a social implication. Because a global warming, ocean level may rise as much as 3 meters. So it's just one social impact because it's going to limit the land, right? Then now, you're going to say economic implication. You can say tourism for beach ecosystem could be damaged. Government bill will increase for social programs. Right? So we see that. So it's going to be along this structure. Right? Identify 2 examples of renewable energy. That's pretty simple. Wind and solar. What I mean by renewable energy? Renewable energy. What I mean by that? Can be reused, right? So, yes. So wind and solar energy. Explain. It says explain one way in which the use of renewable energy can help to solve environmental issues in the Caribbean. All right. So again, it's common sense by reducing the dependency on fossil fuel. Right. So this is also carbon emission. This is also lowering carbon. So the same answer where you use to lower carbon, you can use it for renewable energy. Many Caribbean nations rely heavily on imported oil and gases to meet energy needs, which can be expensive and can cause air pollution. Right? So you reduce dependency on fossil fuel and use, right? So we understand this, right? Hi, Brian. Welcome. Here's the WhatsApp group. So one way in which the use of renewable energy can help to solve economic issues, reducing dependency of fossil fuel. What is renewable energy? You tell me what is renewable energy. Somebody tell him what's renewable energy for me. A prank though? A prank or not prank? A prank? On a prank. It's actually a prank. Okay, good. So, and non-renewable energy. So, give me some example of non-renewable energy. Give him some example, guys. Help him out. Give him some example of non-renewable energy. Yeah, fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, oil, fossil fuels. So fossil fuels can finish. That's why it say, explain one way in which the use of renewable energy can help to solve the environmental issues. Right? So you reduce fossil fuels. So it reduces fossil fuels, meaning that you can have more of it because it's non-renewable. Then now we see that's 15 marks already. That's 15 easy marks. Moving on to again a diagram of your male reproductive system. So you need to lock all your diagrams. Lock all your diagrams and your annotation, meaning that you're labeling. Right? So for the sake of it, what is A? What is A? What is B? What is C? What is D? A are the prostate. B are the testes. So what's C? JJ, how JJ there? And one paper JJ is what JJ is at the one paper. I know me can't see JJ. Ay! D. So D. So there you answer, guys. So it says identify the label structure in figure 2, which is responsible for the production of sperm. That would be D. Let's identify next. Identify the structure in figure 2, right? That is most prone to developing cancer. And for all who said prostate, you are correct. Identify the label structure in figure 2, which produce a nutrients-rich fluid. That's the main component of semen. And that would be A. And what is A? What is A? What's A, guys? What's A? Nobody don't know? One them gone silent. So, all who are really sure, right? This is what they want. Right? They want the seminal vesicles. So seminal vesicle is what they want. But this one is outside, and the one in the diagram is just placed there to throw you off, but it's right there. No, I don't think they'll give you one to draw. It's human and social biology. It's not that serious. JJ, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, boy. You never come on there. You never reach so far. JJ, I'm ready, you know, boy. Oh, boy. All right. So that's basically what it will be. We see the sperm and the ovum, the egg. It says explain why the ovum is much larger than the sperm, right? And again, that's common sense because it stores nutrients required for growth after fertilization. So after fertilization, right, the ovum will have to store nutrients required for growth. So after the sperm fuses with the egg, it will have to have the extra nutrients, right, to store during fertilization. All right. Next, it says, um, again, this is a diagram of the menstrual cycle. Right, very important that you know your diagrams, guys. Know your diagrams, know your diagrams, know your diagrams. Huh? Also know how the reflex work, reflex arc. Make sure you can label that as well. Know your diagrams, right? So you look at your graph showing the menstrual cycle. We have a follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, estrogen, all of those menstrual cycle. Question says, identify two hormones that are necessary for ovulation. And ovulation, you look on the ovarian hormone, and that would be estrogen and progesterone. So let me just explain this quickly for the people who don't understand. It's actually 2023 January. Right? So let me explain menstruation. So when the menstrual cycle begins, right? You know that it's the basically what is menstruation is a tearing of the uterus lining, right? It's a tearing away of the womb, right? So basically, what's the process? So basically, it's a cycle. It goes on every month. So the menstrual wall will tear down, right? And then estrogen, estrogen is formed. Now estrogen is formed, and then what it does is that it builds back up the uterus lining and prepares it for the next process. So what you do, it will build back up the uterus lining with blood, and blood is necessary because blood will transport oxygen and nutrients to the potential gamete that's gonna fuse here, right? So when the estrogen, it delivers estrogen first to maintain, so you can see that the uterus wall is building. After it reach around 14 days, which is 2 weeks, right? The estrogen is decreased, as you can see the level of the estrogen decrease, and then the progesterone takes over. Now the progesterone main job is to maintain the lining of the uterus. So the estrogen builds it up after it breaks down, and then the progesterone maintains the lining of the uterus and makes it even thicker with more blood supply, right? Way more blood supply than the estrogen could. Why? Because now it's preparing, because you can see it's nearing to 21 days, it's preparing for ovulation. It's preparing for that. So when the egg now drops in, and then it is waiting for the sperm to come and fuse with it to form fertilization. So if that doesn't occur, if fertilization doesn't occur, then the progesterone level will drop. And when the progesterone level is dropped, there would be no hormone to keep the lining of the uterus steady. So therefore it will break apart and you will have menstruation. So that's how it goes. if we look here, we can see that the follicle stimulating hormone FSH is responsible for producing estrogen, and the glutathione hormone LH is responsible for producing progesterone. So the anterior pituitary hormone would be the follicle stimulating hormone FSH and the luteinizing hormone LH. And they produce ovarian hormone, which is estrogen and progesterone. Right? So that is a menstruation cycle in a nutshell. So I hope you guys understood that, because that can come in different shape, different size, different format, right? So understand that, guys? JJ, Chrissy, that J, everybody understand? I'm say everybody talk about everything else other than what me just explain. So me assume so that cheesy and breezy and everybody get it. All right, great. No, me not repeating, okay? You well there talk about all sort of thing about a man, and you busy at talk about everything else apart from when me I explain. You are all right. All right. From figure 4, identify the hormone that is most important for the thickening of the endometrial lining during the luteal phase, right? And as we can see, that would be progesterone. Because progesterone, this would be the luteal phase, would be around 21 days, right? Around 21 days. So therefore, it would be progesterone, right? So it's pretty easy. Describe the change in the body temperature during ovulation and state is significant for the couples who are trying to conceive. As you can see, body temperature up here is high during luteinizing hormone and back low again during estrogen. So why is it high? It's high because temperature increase indicates fertility. So that's when mostly when a sperm egg will encounter, that's likely when the sperm egg will encounter ovum. So fertility indicates fertility. All right. State the role of follicle stimulating hormone, and of course, it plays a role. It plays a role in regulating the reproductive system. All right. For example, estrogen. Then we say cancer of the female reproductive system, such as cervical and uterine cancers, are prevalent and can result in death. Discuss how pap smear can reduce these types of cancer. And again, that is it's actually January 2023. That's a paper, not 2024, 2023. And we see how pap smear for the people who were here from morning. Remember, we were talking about the diseases of your reproductive system. I think it was Chrissy who mentioned pap smear, if I'm not remembering correctly. Right? So you know, what are some of how can pap smear reduce cancer quickly? I mean, I don't know about pap smear. I beat more and beat you. I don't know about pap smear. Aren't you a woman? We call it something there. Let me call it. That's what them call it. Ladies, you should know about your pap smear. Understand if the man them don't know, right? But the ladies should know. So pap smear involves collecting cells from your cervix. Yeah, man, you should know, man. So you basically collect the cells from your cervix, right? And then you would test them for potential cancer, right? You would test the cells that were scraped. So pap smear when you scrape vaginal cervix cell from your cervix, right? And then test for cancer. All right. So I understand that. So how would that? So some people say by warning, so you can make you know before you get prominent. Exactly. Yes. So you do have so ladies, you should do a pap smear. When you get older. I think even no, I think it doesn't matter the age. At what age and I'm gonna get pap smear. When I reach 21, yeah, I think you're a bit young now. But anybody who is above the age of 21, you should get a pap smear every 3 years. So you can a pap smear every 3 years, right? So you can catch anything early before it manifests. So pap smear can reduce by detecting it early. All right. Yeah, man, it's treatable once it's captured early. Then we can see what define the term pollutant. And of course, that's different from pollution. What happens when you're pregnant? It happens. I'm not understanding that question. Pap smear is for cancer. For testing for cancer. Pregnancy not really don't have anything to do with pap smear. More for cancer. Yes, you do. You can, but if you've been doing your pap smear every 3 years, you won't necessarily need to do it when you're exactly pregnant. You wouldn't need to. There's no need to once you've been doing it consistently. So define the term pollutant, and of course, it's the substance or material which harms the environment. So it would be this pollutant, would be the smoke or the water or the garbage. Sorry. So don't mix up pollution with pollutant. Pollutant is the agency. that cause the agent, sorry, that cause pollution. All right, we can look at identify two sources of air pollution, and again, vehicles, fertilizers. What else? What else cause air pollution? All right, you can say combustion. Them say factory. So you can say, all right, then combustion of something else. Yes, that's good. So again, guys, again, common sense. All right. Forest fire and other gases. The two effects of air pollution other than acid rain. All right. And we have respiratory illness and cancer. All right. So again, very easy. All right. Again, depletion of ozone layer. Okay. Yes. That's also accepted. Then no. What's going on here? Okay. Then we say human being products. So human products found in the Caribbean and activities that occur in the Caribbean are shown below. Each of these products and activities has its own impact on the water cycle. So you have dams, urbanization, deforestation, factory. So each human product and activity above with impact that it could have on water cycle below. So it says decreases the amount of water stored in the ground and runs off. Fertilizer, because when you, all you think, what's the idea you have? Remember, fertilizer is made up of nitrogen oxide. And when the farmers use the fertilizer to fertilize their farms or their plants, then breathe in the dust, and that dust is polluting the air. So fertilizers do cause air pollution, especially when they're doing it on a massive scale, a big scale. All right, Miracle. Then this one says decreases the amount of water stored. So it says human products found in the Caribbean and activities that occur in the Caribbean are shown below. Each of these products and activities has its own impact on the water cycle. So match each human product and activity above with the impact it could have on the water cycle. So decrease the amount of water stored in the ground and increase runoff. That's urbanization, right? Because urbanization, you will have more water running off to prevent water flooding. Because you want to, because the roads would be smooth, so therefore the water won't have nowhere to go. So they have to build drainage and all of these things. Right? So therefore less water will be stored in the ground. Then it says decreases transportation and increases soil runoff. Right? Decreases transpiration, sorry. And once it's a transpiration, it has to be plants, right? Because plants transpire. Then now we have increases cloud cover, leads to increased precipitation and decreased evaporation, right? and that would be for factory exhaust, because of course it goes in the air and pollute the air. So it increases cloud cover. Then finally, we have, let's go to this thing here. We have increases water surface area resulting in great evaporation, and that would be A, which is dams, as dam would increase the surface area. Right? If you're ever into a situation like this, you do the ones that are certain, and then when you get the ones that are certain, you do the one on the left back has to be the answer for the one you don't know. So I think the only one you wouldn't know off the bat will be B. So I think C and D and A is explanatory. So then you do those first and then put B last. Then now we have water pollution cycle. So we have to know all our cycle. That's in our book. All right, know your diagrams, guys. Know your diagram. Know your diagram. Right? This one says this three source of water pollution in figure 5. I just look on them really. So we see manure is one. All right. See fertilizer. That's one. Now we see gas station seepage. All right. So we see those. So suggest two ways in which eutrophication can be prevented. Right? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Eutrophication. The eutrophication is when sediments are deposited in water. So it's when nutrients are accumulated in a body of water, causing microorganisms, causing growth in microorganisms. So that make algae. So you never see water look green. Have you ever seen water that green have algae growing on it? All right. So the growing of algae is because the nutrients in the water is a lot. So eutrophication is when there's excess nutrients accumulating, right? And that is a cause, an issue. It's a cause of concern, right? Because if we have eutrophication going on, then we're going to have a lot of algae in the water. So how we reduce that is reduce the nutrients input and wetland restoration, right? Wetland restoration. What is wetland restoration? Wetland restoration is to return to its natural function. So you restore wetland, right? By getting rid of the chemicals and all of those things that was put or seeped in the environment for farming. So you restore the wetland to what it was before. So that means you would have less nutrients. You go back to the original, natural. So you restore back the wetland. Very important. So that means you will purify. You will purify the area. Right, getting rid of extra chemicals, the nutrients, all of those extra things that's contaminating the water. to restore the wetland. Right? So those are two solid reasons to prevent eutrophication. And again, eutrophication is the building up of nutrients in the water. Right? Then we look at define each of the following genetic terms. Phenotype, right? And phenotype is the physical expression of genotype, right? Meaning that, like, let's use a Dalmatian. Dalmatian was, it was BB, the female was BB. So BB, recessive BB, so female BB equal, I think was brown. Let's work with brown. Brown spot. And brown spot would be the phenotype. So the actual brown that you see would be the phenotype. So BB, recessive BB would be the allele, and that would be the genotype, right? The common BB that you see would be the genotype, and the brown spot that you can see would be the phenotype. So that's why that would be the physical expression of a gene. Understand that, guys? We get that? We get that? And homozygous, we know that already, two identical copy of a particular gene. All right. Then now we have name two chromosomes that determine sex in humans. So we were talking about that already. We were talking about sex chromosome. So this XY would be male and XX would be female. All right. And remember that when we do sex-linked diseases, right, remember that sex-linked diseases only can travel on the X chromosome. Right? So remember that. Phenotype. Rihanna. Phenotype is the brown spot, the expression that you can see. It's the expression of the genotype. I gave an example in the chat. BB, which is the allele that makes up the gene, is the genotype. And the brown spots on the dog that you can see is the phenotype. Phenotype is what you can see with your eyes, physically. Right? Then now we say Ned. Ned and Brian are brothers who share the same parents. Ned is hemophilia, but Brian does not have hemophilia. So use XH to denote normal, and so XH dominant and XH recessive to denote hemophilia. And there's a point that recessive is always a disease. A recessive is always a disease. You don't really have to see to know. Recessive is always a disease. All right. So it says using symbols XH and to denote the normal XH. So this is X dominant and this is X recessive to denote hemophilia. So it says Brian are brothers of the same parent. Ned has hemophilia, but Brian does not have hemophilia. So that means this is very simple. So Ned has hemophilia, so he would be common. So he would be recessive. So Ned would be XHY because Ned is a male. So it would be XHY because that H would be on the X chromosome because sex-linked disease only travel on the X chromosome. Right? Brian does not have hemophilia, so then he would be dominant, as the question indicates. So he will be X dominant Y. Pretty simple. All right. Then now we have using a Punnett square in figure 6, determine the phenotypes and genotype of Ned and Brian's mother and father. All right. So we're gonna use the we're gonna use a Punnett square to determine the phenotype and genotypes of Ned and Brian's father. So we'll go about doing that. Before we even go there, how would we do that? Anybody wanna go? No? Okay. So I'm just gonna finish up here because it's getting late and you are getting all unresponsive. So that's my cue. So on the brain cells and dead out. Need to recuperate and go finish up your guys' study. So you want to determine, right? You want to determine Ned and Brian's mother and father. So the genotype of Brian's father has to be X, dominant H, and Y. Right? Because you want, when you do your Punnett square, you must get back this. So the genotype of a mother would be a heterozygous, where she would be X capital H, X common H. Right? And when we do the math, we'll see that X dominant and an X dominant give you 2X dominant, and an X dominant and an X recessive give you a recessive. So these would be females, right? And then now, because these would be XX, so these wouldn't be Brian and Ned. So Brian and Ned would be males. So we see X, we see Y, and X dominant give us X dominant and Y. So this would be Brian. And then Y and X recessive gives you Ned. Right? So that is that. Then now it says the Punnett square, so the phenotype of a mother would be a normal carrier. She would be a carrier of the disease. because she's carrying a recessive. Remember that the female has two recessive, right? So the female has two recessive, the female has two X chromosomes. So therefore the female can carry two. It can carry a normal and it can carry a dominant and it can carry a recessive. The male on the other hand only has one X, so he can only carry one thing. Right? And the father would be normal. So Rihanna, based on the answer that was given at the top, we say that this is the genotype of Ned and Brian. If we are to do a Punnett square here to find out the mother of Ned and Brian, we'll have to find back what can give us these answers at the top. And the only thing can give us these answers at the top would be a normal male and a heterozygous female or a carrier female to give us back that answer. Right? Do we understand, Liana? So Liana, it's you're getting back this, you want to get back this. Say to find the parents, Ned, mother, and father, it will have to be something to give you back two male, and the two male must be this. Two male alone. Now, what can give you two male in this instance? It has to be a normal and a carrier female. Because if this was a normal mother, then none of them would have hemophilia. So the mother had to have hemophilia, right? And if it was a total recessive mother, then Ned and Brian would be recessive, right? So the mother determines what is going on here. So if you're not sure, you have to do the Punnett square more than one time to see that you are not getting this combination, so that means that you are doing the wrong thing. Okay? Then we say explain why the incidence of hemophilia is higher in men than in women. And I think that was explained already. Because they have one X chromosome, and therefore if it gets in, hemophilia is higher in men because they only have one X chromosome, and therefore if get it, that. But if the woman's side they have two X's, which means that hemophilia can be recessive. Yes, that's basically it. So because the mother is both recessive and dominant, the gene is going to, yes. Because if the mother, that's why it's more prevalent in males. Because if a female is a carrier of a disease, of a sex-linked disease, then automatically one of the males is going to have it. There's a 25% chance that one of the male is going to have it. And there's a 50% chance that a male and the female is going to have it. Because remember that it can only travel on the X chromosome. So even though the woman is a carrier, if it falls on one of the male, which is her son, he's going to be hemophilic because he just has one X chromosome. Liana, you watch the video? Have you watched the video? I recommend that you watch the video to cement it. Videos on the channel. Are you subscribed, Liana? Are you subscribed? Please watch that video. I'm begging you to watch that video. All right? You will get it afterwards, promise. Then it says Ethan is a frontline worker at the hospital. He was not immunized against COVID-19 virus and has contracted it. He recovers 2 weeks after. 7 months later, a variant of COVID-19 virus arises and is unsure whether his previous exposure will protect him from contracting the variant. In the scenario given above, identify the anti-agent and state why antibodies cannot be used to eliminate it. So Ethan was not immune against COVID-19 virus, but him catch it, but him recover. And several later, a new variant, a variant of COVID-19 arise and Ethan is unsure, right? Because why is Ethan unsure? Because the variant would be different. So even though Ethan contracted COVID-19, it might be Delta, but Omega is different. So the white blood cells may not remember that this is COVID-19 because them Delta probably shape different from Omega. So the virus mutate basically. And because it mutates, it can probably go undetected. And the memory cells then probably don't remember that. Right? So yeah. So in the scenario above, identify the anti-agent and state why antibodies cannot use it to eliminate it. So antibodies kill bacteria and COVID is a virus. Antibodies won't work. The anti-agent identify a marker on the surface of the virus. So again, the virus probably won't remember that variant, right? Because it has evolved. So those are the two that give you the marks there. All white blood cells are memory cells. The antigen is just another word for it, in essence. So they produce antigens. Antigens are memory cells, but it identify a marker. So it identifies the virus like a tag. It labels it. So when the antigen label it, the virus, the white blood cell will remember that, hey, that's bad. So the antigen put on the label and the white blood cell read that label. So antigens aren't memory cells. Memory cells are your white blood cells. Whether you're more of your lymphocytes. So antigens are identifying marker. So Taje, you and your brethren apart, your brethren mark somebody and say, yo, that's somebody that bad. Look on the youth now red hat, him bad. And then me know say, all right, then me not forgot this because the youth that bad. That's basically what it is. So antigens are the identifier marker. They identify that this virus is a bad one. And then when they identify that, right? When they identify that, then the white blood cells will remember it. Define immunity, right? Immunity is the ability of an organism to resist infections and disease, right? Process of immunization, right? The process of immunization, what's that? The process of immunization, right, is a process whereby a person is made resistant to a disease through vaccine. So all of those diseases, each one is supposed to have an immunization card, right? And that you get vaccinated for diseases such as flu, etc., etc., etc. Next, we have explained to Ethan how his body was able to overcome the invasion of COVID-19, although he was not immunized, right? And that would be simple, because I explained that already, right? So Ethan body will get natural immunity. So Ethan white blood cells will remember that COVID-19 was a bad virus. Then the antigens will tag it, identify it, and then the memory cells will remember it and then produces antibodies to fight against it. All right, so that's pretty much it. Discuss the type of immunity that Ethan developed as a result of contracting COVID-19. It would be natural active immunity, as I stated here. Natural active immunity. Because he didn't take a virus. Sorry, he didn't take a vaccine. He was not immunized. So no vaccine means natural immunity. Discuss whether Ethan exposure to COVID-19 virus to provide him protection against the variant. And again, I explained that. So it's a 50-50 chance that it will and a 50-50 chance that it doesn't, because the variant might have mutated. So the memory cells don't remember that this is actually the same virus. All right. Then now we have the heart, right? So ensure you know your heart. One heart is in the state of systole, one heart is in the state of diastole. Arrow indicates the flow of blood. Identify structure label X in heart B and its function, and that's the mitral valve. All right, what's the name for the mitral valve? Mitral valve. So the name for the mitral valve. Mitral valve is the bicuspid valve. So it's another name for the bicuspid valve. Is a mitral valve. Same difference, no difference. Then identify the heart in figure 7 that is in systole and state whether the ventricle is being emptied or filled. So which one of them would be in systole? Johnson, I'm not sure what you're talking about. So therefore it will be emptied. Right? Then they say state whether the blood flowing in the left ventricle is oxygenated or deoxygenated. And justify your answer. Left ventricle. Left ventricle would be oxygenated. Because left ventricle would be on your right. So remember that, guys. The right. So remember the right is left. And the left is right. The right is left. And the left is right. The right is left and your left is right. Meaning that blood that is on your left is oxygenated. Blood that is on your left is deoxygenated. So the blood that's on your left is deoxygenated. But every organ that's on your left is right. So you have right atrium, right ventricle, all of them is to your left. They carry deoxygenated blood. Right? So remember that. So to your left is deoxygenated blood. To your right is oxygenated blood. Right? But to your left, everything is right, labeled right, and to your right, everything is labeled left. That's a trick to know. So left ventricle means that it's on your right. So therefore, right to be oxygenated blood. Lungs to the pulmonary vein to the left ventricle. Then now, so this shows a man sitting at a table and he might eat and drink and be merry. So he might beers, salt, this look like some whole heap of nice, this is cigarette, dog, fries, this is like fries and a bag of things. So suggest 3 risk factors other than obesity, because obviously in fat already, that could contribute to the man developing hypertension. All right. And again, it's same to the question before. All right. You can see that cigarette, because smoking leads to hypertension, the salt, and the fried food. All right. All that lead to hypertension. Then suggest 2 other non-communicable disease that the man could develop as a result of a factor. So whole heap, him could get liver disease, him can get oral cancer, right? Him can get kidney disease, him can get lung cancer, him can get heart attack, him can get everything that the book. Every single thing that the book him can get. Right? All of that. Yes, right is oxygenated. Everything that's right is oxygenated. So it will be everything that's on your right is oxygenated. Everything that's on your left is deoxygenated. But all the organs on your left is right, and all the organs on your right is left. And with each subsequent decade in the Caribbean, the incidence of obesity has increased in children. So there's two strategies the government can use. And again, education and awareness, right? Them can reduce sugar content in schools, make sure the kids eat a particular set diet in schools. Yeah, so all of those things you can meds and think out is nothing crazy, right? That's nothing crazy. Why you think the left side is thicker? Remember, remember, I didn't yet. I never the left side is supposed to say no. Man, what you say? It should be the left. So it should be the right side. It's thicker than the left side. But the right side is transporting more oxygen to the body. So let's just quickly look at that. So if we look at the you know the answer. Let me see if I can find it quickly. All right. So if you look at the art, you'll see that the left side is blue. That means it's deoxygenated, and your right side is red. It is oxygenated. Right? Everything that's on your left is right. See there? You say your left side, and you have the right atrium, the right ventricle. So your right side, you have the left atrium, the left ventricle. That's what I was saying. Do we understand that now? Is that clear? So the left ventricle and the left atrium, right, would be on your right. So that means it will be oxygenated. So that means it's pumping the blood to the whole body. And let's explain how that works quickly. So this now we will have the anterior vena cava, right? And the vena cava carries deoxygenated blood from the head. That's why it's anterior. And then we have the posterior vena cava, which carries deoxygenated blood from the body. So it's carrying deoxygenated blood from the head and the body, the lower body. We see where the blood now is entered from two ends, right? It goes down and the tricuspid valve prevents backflow into the atrium when the ventricle contracts. So when this right ventricle contracts to pump the blood up, right? The tricuspid valve prevents backflow into the atrium, and this will be the right atrium. So it prevents back blood from going back up to the atrium. So it closes this gap. So blood is not seeped back up to the atrium, right? So you see it goes down to the ventricle, and the ventricle pumps the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So we can see it goes up there to the lungs. right? And then the pulmonary artery takes the blood to the lungs specifically. So the right ventricle pumps the deoxygenated blood up, and then the pulmonary artery takes that and carry it to the lungs. Now it carries to the lungs to get oxygenated, right? And then when it gets oxygenated, the pulmonary vein now carries the oxygenated blood from the lungs, right, and push it back in. Then we have the semilunar valve to prevent backflow into the ventricle. See them here, so. And we have the bicuspid valve or the mitral valve, right? This prevents the blood from going back into the left atrium, which collects the blood after it comes from the pulmonary vein. You can see there, comes through the pulmonary vein and the left atrium collects it, right? Then pushes it through down to the left ventricle. So it has thicker wall than the right ventricle to pump oxygenated blood longer distance around the body. So it's not actually the right, it's actually on the right side. So the right side of the heart is thicker, but the left ventricle, so because what is right is left, right? The left ventricle will be thicker. So then it pushes up to the aorta, and the aorta is the main artery that carries oxygenated blood to the body, while this is the main vein, which carries deoxygenated blood from the head, and this is from the body. Note that the pulmonary artery is the only artery that carries deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary vein is the only vein that carries oxygenated blood. So note that pulmonary artery is the only artery that carries deoxygenated blood, and the pulmonary vein is the only vein that carries oxygenated blood. So I hope that clears it up for you all. Then it's the end. So tips, guys, to know all your organs, right? Know all your organs, can label them. Things that can come tomorrow, the excretory system probably is a thing that can come. I haven't seen it in a while, right? Can look out for things like the eye. Eye can come, right? Make sure you look up on all your systems, diagrams, know your diagrams, all right? Make sure you know your diseases that affect all of your body systems, right, and organs. And make sure you know the social, economical impact, all right? So if you haven't subscribed, guys, please go ahead and do so. I'll send the WhatsApp group for the final time tonight. I will send you all the notes in the WhatsApp group as I end this live. I want to thank you all for coming out. I want to thank you all for staying from 1 o'clock to now. It's almost 10. I really appreciate you guys showing determination to actually get that one. So just know that is not in vain, right? Try ensure that you go and read for your exam tomorrow. Try and make sure so you cover your diagrams, watch your videos. All right. I have videos that says CSET biology. However, they are same as human and social biology. So cover all of that. All right. All the best tomorrow, guys. Anybody will get the paper, I have a link to the paper. As soon as I get it, please send me. So I can look at the question and see what's up. All right. So please join the WhatsApp group if you haven't. That's where I send the notes. All right. May all the best in your exams. And yes. All the best in your exam. Liana, make sure you watch the videos. Message me if needed. All right. Message me if needed. If you don't understand, but I think my videos are pretty clear. So watch the video. Again, this is the final time I'm putting the chat in the live. Make sure you're in the WhatsApp group. You don't want to miss out on things to revise. All right. God bless you all. All right. God bless you all. And please to do the work. Don't shortcut the work. Do the work. 1 o'clock exam. Time yourself. Get at least a 4 hours sleep. Wake up back 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning. And beat it. All right. Have a plan. Anything you know you're weak on, lock it up. All right. You have all the details, all the information to lock it up. So get the one, guys. It's just one. It's just a few weeks of sacrifice. You have the whole summer. All right. So just make the sacrifice and it will be worth it. So we're closing off, guys. So God bless you all. The best for tomorrow. Keep me posted how you feel the exam went. All who just join, subscribe to the channel, like, subscribe, and watch the videos. All right. Don't let the updates pass you. Subscribe. All right. Best up, guys. All the best.